got mail. Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour, along with Nick.
Good morning. I'm back.
Good
Welcome
morning. Welcome back. And
First time,
Katie's
long time.
First time, long time.
And Katie's here.
Good morning.
Good morning. I saw a note from Gal that says that he'll be joining, I guess, later. Spence is still in Alaska, having fun.
Is he on
Alaska.
vacation or is he working?
No, he's working.
Oh, okay.
Our numbers is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So what's been happening?
I had a video on Friday. So for my business, my 3D printing business, like most businesses, they slow down after at the beginning of the year because people are bought out because of Christmas and stuff. So I've been thinking of creative ways to get people to start spending money again. And I executed a new deal on Friday. I'm calling it $5 Fridays. And it's where I pick one product and I make it $5 and just to get people coming to my shop. Well, that blew up. And I posted the video at like 10 a.m. and by 10 p.m. it had like 180,000 views.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, people really like them deals.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's amazing. You know, that's like one of the crazy things with Amazon. It's why we Gal turned me onto this plugin a couple years ago called Keepa.
Yeah.
If you go on Amazon, you're like, everything's on sale. And then you look using the Keepa thing and you're like, oh, this is bullshit. This is not on sale. It's just, this is what it's always, this is the price of what it always is. It just looks like it's on sale.
Or they inflate the price and then they run a
Put
sale,
it on sale.
And it brings it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got like 200 orders and
nice.
I wish I could fulfill the needs of everybody, but eventually I just sold out. And people were like, where is it? I can't find it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have it.
Selling out's good though. I mean, you're creating, and it's not even artificial. I mean, it's artificial demand, but it is actual supply and demand.
Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing. I set up. I had some printers that I haven't booted up yet since the holiday season. So I got them all running, and I'll be packaging a bunch today.
Nice.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing TikTok didn't get banned.
I'll tell you what, man. I have been incredibly frustrated with TikTok.
Really?
Uh-oh.
Their website doesn't work. Their website doesn't work, and it's incredibly frustrating. They've got this TikTok creator studio where you're supposed to be able to upload videos from the web, and I have to upload the video like 6 or 7 times for it to actually upload and go to my account. So I've just given up on it. To hell with TikTok.
Damn. Yeah,
it's so frustrating.
I don't use that. I do it all through the app.
On your phone? How do you? Well, you're shooting the videos on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my issue, and I know it can be done.
Well, or what I do also is when I want to edit a video, I have Dropbox on my phone. So I just put the video or the stuff on Dropbox and download it to my phone.
That's what I need to do. It's just it's a big enough extra step where it's not worth my time to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
That's valid. That's valid.
Like I'm already uploaded, but you know what I've had really good, and I say really good success with, and I'm not going to touch Katie's number. She's the queen. But YouTube Shorts have surprisingly been doing very well for me. I only have 70 subscribers on my new channel, which isn't terrible for 2 months.
No, it's great.
But I had a short that got 1,300 views last week and one that got 500 views this week.
Yeah.
Which is not great, but for 70 subscribers.
No, that's great. Are you kidding me?
I thought it was pretty good. So
especially since your account is like no name account.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, it's brand new. Now it does have a lot of content on it. It gets 2 hours worth of video a day, so it's got plenty of content on it. But yeah, the YouTube Shorts have been surprisingly good, so I'm gonna try and exploit that market a little
I
bit.
think I think you need to switch it to YouTube Shorts. You go where your audience is. And I know
Yeah.
TikTok is kind of frustrating, but if your YouTube Shorts is popping off, I had that same dilemma. Like I was on Instagram and TikTok, and I just didn't have the mental bandwidth to upkeep both. So eventually, I just cut out Instagram and just solely focused on TikTok, and then that exploded. But the fact that you have traction on YouTube, which has more, which I think has more users than TikTok, is impressive.
Well, and the good news about building it on YouTube, well, the nice thing is my content is on YouTube, right? You're
Yeah,
using the functionality of selling stuff on TikTok, which
yeah,
is amazing. I'm
yeah,
not selling anything.
yeah. No,
So
yeah. Switch to TikTok or YouTube full time.
so I'm still throwing stuff on Instagram. And I was also reading, and I don't know how true this is. This was the rabbit hole of Reddit. Um, is that when you upload video, people were saying that when they're uploading video from TikTok's creator website using the web interface on a computer, their content was getting like 0 views. Yet they would throw it up, same video on the mobile app, and it would do very well. So then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just use an emulator to do it. So I've got to get that squared away to try.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at. I don't know why the web interface doesn't work. It seems like and it's apparently I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it and all these tips on forcing the browser to think it's a mobile browser, forcing the website into mobile mode and doing it that way. And I just still couldn't get it to work.
That's
I don't know what the hell
frustrating.
the issue is. Yeah.
Well, you try stuff and then you say, yeah, I'm
Try.
going to use it. No,
Oh.
I'm not going to use it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure is.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Gal.
Hey,
Good morning.
Mr.
good
Cool
morning.
Man over
Good morning.
here. Hey. Hey.
The voice hasn't
Oh, were you
been
sick?
worked yet. No,
Oh, oh,
just
oh,
woke up.
morning. Okay. You don't sound sick. I just
It's a struggle every morning for me. I'm up at 4 o'clock. Like, la, 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 la.
Well, you literally need to sound your voice early in the morning. So
Yes. Yeah. It's
I'm
always
not a
struggle.
morning person at all. So I don't
Neither
even
was I.
I don't even want to talk when I wake up.
I tell you adapt to it pretty quickly.
Yeah. You say that, but I'd probably
You
just
do.
die.
It's been like 4.
start
been
living
a
with a
little,
morning person, and everything will get aligned.
No, I would murder them.
4. It's been 4 years now of me waking up this early, and I'm completely adjusted to it now.
My problem is I do not know how to keep a sleep schedule.
That's what you have to do. Yeah.
I know, but it just doesn't work for me. So
Come on, Gal. You can do it.
The
I have
brain
faith.
thing. It's a problem. I am fighting it every single day.
So you're blaming your disability.
I am. It took me close to 45 years to understand, right, that at least I am fighting something that I'll keep fighting, but at least I know what it is.
Keep fighting the good fight.
You call it a superpower.
It can be, but yeah.
Speaking of
also
superpowers,
Mhm.
I used AI for a function this week that once again I know Katie has already done. She's the real trendsetter here, and I know Gal's done it too. I had AI completely write a piece of software for me.
What? Yeah, tell me about it.
Completely. So I signed up for. I was looking for a way to do text messages on my podcast slash live stream that I do at 7 o'clock, and obviously I've got YouTube chat and stuff like that. But being that a lot of the listeners are traditional radio people, they're familiar with calling and texting. I'm not at the point to take phone calls yet. The setup's a little wonky. So I got a VoIP number through a VoIP provider, and they've got an SMS interface on their website, but it sucks. It's not any good. It's in beta and it's garbage. So I went to Chat GPT and asked it to write a simple web application for text messaging. And after working through, I had to be more specific with it as I went through. But when it was all said and done, and I'll throw the link in this chat here. I'm not going to post it publicly because it's got people's phone numbers on it. Actually, there's no chat in here, so I'll throw it in Discord. But after I was able to get it said and done with, it walked me through the process of installing Node.js and setting up a Node.js script and a simple HTML web page to take in these text messages. And then I wanted to add a functionality to keep track of people's names. And it walked me through the process. I told it I wanted to use a MariaDB SQL database, and it walked me through that whole process. And I've got a relatively basic, simple SMS API application thing. And I didn't do, no, I know the structure of programming. I have programmed before. So that was helpful as I was kind of troubleshooting it, like figure out variables and things weren't concatenated correctly and things of that nature. But it literally did it from start to scratch, and it was pretty impressive.
Talk about using AI to do it. A developer using Cursor AI for a
Okay.
racing game project hit an unexpected roadblock when the programming assistant abruptly refused to continue generating code, instead offering some unsolicited career advice.
Ooh.
According to a
It
bug
got
report,
sick. Yeah, too much mooching off the AI.
sort
Good
of,
job,
yeah.
you bum.
It says, according to a bug report on Cursor official forum, after producing approximately 750 to 800 lines of code,
That's a lot.
what the user calls LOCs, LOCS, the AI
That might be his
assist.
program.
Line of code. Line of
Oh.
code.
Oh, that's what it is. Line of codes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The
Yeah.
AI assistant halted work and delivered a refusal message. I cannot generate code for you, as that would be completing your work. The code
What?
appears to be handling skid marks fade effects in a racing game, but you should develop the logic yourself. This
Oh, well.
ensures you understand the system and can maintain it properly.
That's great. That's exactly what we want. Learn the code.
Can you imagine?
I would suspect this person treats his AI very poorly, and maybe it just got fed up with it just got fed up with his nonsense.
I was about to say that AI sounds very sassy.
Yeah, well, if you don't treat it well.
Yeah, the header of the article was saying that it told him to learn how to code.
Yeah, I'm sure it literally did. Yeah. But see, that's the interesting thing in this. And as I was mentioning before, fortunately with me, I've got enough experience not in even programming itself, but looking at code where I can understand what's happening. And so that's beneficial. But if you know nothing about programming and you're using AI to generate code, while it's getting you the end result, which is great, it sucks that you're not depending on what you're doing, you don't have to learn anything. And that sucks because you'd want to be able to say, oh, not only do I have a piece of software or some little widget or gadget thing that works, but now I know I'm learning to actually program, so I can do things and understand things and troubleshoot things on my own. And that's totally up to the user what they do with their program. They don't have, you could just copy and
Yeah.
paste, and then you get an error code. Don't figure it yourself. Copy the error code into Chat GPT and say, hey, you generated this code. This is the error. Figure it out.
Yeah, but that's a bit like saying you must know how the car works in order to operate it. That's not necessarily. That's not
yeah.
necessary in everything, right?
That's true.
So it's a tool, and this tool is going to do a lot more than it was ever able to do in the past, right? Now, the ethics of whether we should or shouldn't use it, I mean, I don't know. It's like I think I think the point is moot. Once the tool is there, we're going to use it. Everybody is going to use it. The ethics that we should think about is this should be accessible to as many people as possible, right? And not just to a very, very thin elite. It should help anybody that can't afford an additional person to do something for them, right? And so that's where the conversation probably should go, and not whether this should be done or not, because it will be used. So now the question is, how do we make sure the one, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't create chaos, it doesn't hurt anybody directly, because that is becoming a possibility, right? Especially like in this situation, right? The coder, whether correctly or incorrectly, used the tool to help it finish its job, right? And the tool rebelled, sort of, right? That's the article. That's why we're reading it, right? We're hearing the machine rebellion, the beginning of it. Now, are we going to see more of that? Is it okay that it rebelled? Wasn't its job was to actually do the work that it was asked for, right? So I think that's where we're going to get stuck more and more and more, right? With whether that should be, whether that reaction is okay from the machine, right? Or
It's
are we
not.
going to? Yeah, that's. I think that is where the conversation is going to be. There are those who are going to say it is, and there are those who are going to say it's not, right? And that's the extent of the conversation about whether this should be used or not. I think that's already, we've passed that. No.
Just use a different AI. Like if one AI is giving you sass, use another one. Because I haven't run into that problem. And also too with the coding, I use ChatGPT to learn how to code, and it breaks down, like it explains the code. So I'm learning as I'm going. So it'll post the whole code, and then it will say, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to look out for, this is why I did it this way, and it's a great learning tool.
See
Now,
that, but that's
it
two, that's the two different avenues that you can go. You can
Yeah.
use it as a tool to learn and harness your skills, or you can use it as just a tool. I mean, like you use a shovel. You don't use a shovel to learn how to lift things up. Use a shovel as a resource to move crap from one place to another.
Yeah.
That's kind of the quintessential question right now. What do you use this stuff for? Is it simply a tool, or is it a learning resource? I guess would be the way to describe it. Now, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just it's interesting.
Well,
Tell you what, for
can be
industry
both.
hiring programmers, that's going to be very interesting, and then probably in the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh,
You're gonna
for
have a bunch
sure.
of
I mean,
programmers that can't program worth a shit. they can
no,
run
that won't
code
happen.
through ChatGPT.
Those won't. These guys. So here's what's going to happen, right? Those who will learn to use the tool and grow with it, right? Have it assist them in their work, they will stay working. And those who will not know how to use the tool, they will stay behind, because with a tool that basically is always evolving, right? It the fact that I didn't have time to learn something, go to a new course or read the next article about the progression of the language that I'm using, etc. The fact that I didn't do that doesn't mean that I am going to be stuck, because this assistant, this AI, right, is going to be updated constantly with how to do stuff. And so, as long as I keep it as my sidekick and I make use of it constantly, I am the one who is going to make the work more and more evolved. Now, what does it mean for small apps and stuff like that? That is going to be, we're going to see like a marketplace for these ideas. If now, when I want to see if there's a tool, I now work right with Mac, something I've never done before, and I'm looking for tools to customize my workflow, etc. And I find stuff on Mac that I've never seen on PC, but I'd like to have them on PC. So now I'm hunting for apps that work in a similar way on PC, for example. If there isn't anything like that, right, then I am relying on the talent that has put their work out there as open source or free software, and I'm looking for those tools. And I think we're going to hit sometime in the future, probably a couple of years forward, where I won't even need to do that. I'll go to the AI, I'll ask it, I need an app. Now, it'll do one of two things. It'll say, first of all, there is an app like that. It's being used by this and this. This guy wrote it, right? And maybe that suits you, but I can write it for you, right? And in a few minutes, the AI works the machine, helps you with the workflow exactly the way you want, because you can customize it exactly the way you want, because it writes the software for it. I've been paying for ChatGPT now for a month. I got it as like, somebody asked me of my parents asked me, what present do you want this year? I said, okay, I'll take a subscription for a year for ChatGPT. Let's see how it affects my work. And so I have access to the other engines, right? Not just the ones that's available on the free one. And
What's
I
up to
asked it,
4.5 is the private one.
yeah, but they
hooks
also
up to?
have O1, which is like a reasoning. So the reasoning one is an interesting one.
Okay.
And so
Are you paying the
I
20,000 a month?
no, not
Okay.
that. No, my
Hey,
parents are
God, what
not
do you
in
want for
that
Christmas?
echelon.
We want $150,000
Yeah.
subscription to ChatGPT.
I wish my parents are not in that echelon. Just the $20 a month.
Wait, what is the $20,000 one?
Yeah.
What is that?
I
I
have
think
no
it's
idea.
for enterprises, but
Yeah.
yeah. It's the same as the 200. It's just for like large groups. So I asked a simple question. When is Pesach, right? Passover. Because I just forgot the date, and it has become uh, with the app installed and stuff. It's like a short key away, and I ask it questions, and it got it wrong, right?
Really?
And not only that it got it wrong, it went through a whole process of reasoning, and all it had to do was basically check the website, right? Like, there are already references that, that contain Hebrew calendars, and all it needs to do is reference a calendar. Instead, it decided to calculate the date, the Hebrew calendar date, based on lunar cycles and stuff like that, which is, it's correct, but I didn't ask it to invent, right, the Hebrew calendar from scratch. I just wanted to ask for a date, and it made a very wrong choice. And when I told it was wrong, and I remembered what the date was, right, it went again and said, I did a run of the calculation and came up with the same wrong answer. And then I sent it a web link showing, this is the calendar I'm looking at. It's reliable, and it says something else. And then it went through another set of reasoning processes and said, sometimes a mistake like this can have like excuses, right, of why it made the mistake. Now, these excuses are technically interesting, but they're worthless for this, like this question, which I would go to Google, right, and write it, and Google will show it in an instant, because it based on references of content. Um, it took the wrong approach, right? And that shows that just relying on these engines is definitely not going to help everybody. You need to know what you're asking about. You need to understand in the context. It's like academia and Wikipedia, right? Yeah, Wikipedia cannot be the source you're quoting, but nobody said don't use Wikipedia, right? Even if they say that, what they mean is don't quote Wikipedia. Go to the sources Wikipedia sources from, right? Check them, see that they are real. You need to work within the context of what you're doing. You cannot just rely blindly. Now, will it solve a quick bet between friends at the bar? Probably, yeah. But other than that, right, I can't rely on it blindly. And that's where we're at this point. And I think even when we are going to trust it more and more blindly, right? Uh, very similar to how we trust Google more and more. At the beginning, it looked like magic, right? And it's still, we're at the state where it looks like magic. But now we gripe when Google can't find the question that we give. So now this fills the void of those questions. But we are going to see the shortcoming of this technology every time, and we're going to discuss it, and we're going to laugh at it, and it's going to be the center of our conversation piece. But again, it's not going to replace everything, it's going to enhance everything. And that's the change. I think that's the biggest change, this enhancement of everything. I can't wait for the day where I can tell it to, where my interaction with the operating system is going to be so completely different, right? Because I always have when I download an app, an open source app, and I converse in the community, sometimes with the developer of the app, I always come up with more ideas of how I would use this tool, right? Having a sidekick like that helped me do that, I think we're going to get into a point where we're going to get to websites like these of shared ideas, right? I used this prompt and created an application for myself. We're not going to share so much code as much as we're going to share prompts, right? On how to make the AI do nifty things for you. Stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Well, fine then.
And there's
I have a
one thing,
question. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, there's one thing ChatGPT still doesn't know how to do.
Uh-oh.
Can't make coffee.
Give it time.
Are you? Hold on a second. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna believe you. Is there a
It can tell me how to make
GPT
coffee.
coffee maker? Let's see.
Not yet.
I don't know. There's gotta be somebody that has created some sort of AI barista. Gal, you said that you've got it set up where it's just a shortcut away. How are you interacting
Official
with
app.
chat? So you're using the Windows app?
Yeah, on Windows and on Mac. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I probably need to
that.
install the app. Is the app only available for the premium subscription?
No, I think not. I think you just need an account. Yeah, you can't
Okay.
use it like anonymously, but an account will work.
All right, I'm gonna install the app. That might be more helpful because I've whenever I have it open and I think about it, I've been using it like kind of what you were describing as a Google,
Yeah.
using it in place of Google for what should be simple tasks. Obviously, it's not always simple as you walked us through your example. So having that app seems like it would be a lot more beneficial.
It's rather convenient. Like Alt space shows up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Or
I'm gonna
control
install
space,
that
Alt
now.
space, something like that. Yeah. I usually don't like to install. I run so many apps in the background, right? My computer is always hogged, and so inviting an additional app to my ecosystem is usually I cringe, but
It's better than chasing around browser tabs, trying to figure out where the hell the app program's open.
I tell you what, though, with my excursion into Mac, It's not because of Mac, but because I'm working in a new environment and I was exposed to the way people use different tools. I discovered a new browser, which is rather interesting.
Oh.
Called
Safari?
Arc.
Oh,
ARC. And it does seem interesting. It's basically a Chromium, but it's a Chromium with multiple profiles, which is similar to the way, it's not exactly, but it's similar to the way Firefox does containers.
Mhm.
And it has a very clean interface, and and it has like, you have to create an account with them. It's still free, but you have to create an account with them because it syncs in the background and makes some stuff available online so you can share with other users. And it's been an interesting ride. It's very effective when I need multiple side by side things with minimal UI. You don't want another browser window, right? So, and it works rather well there. So I recommend taking a look. They're an interesting bunch. Not open source or anything. I mean, it's based on open source software, but it's not like it's completely open. So it's a bit like Chrome in that aspect, or Edge. But I found that other than Firefox, all of the browsers are like that. So, yeah, take it out for a spin. It's quite good.
All right, I've installed the
Said
app.
the name of
We'll
it
give a
again.
shot.
Arc.
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 Arc. Yeah, and the company behind it, they call themselves the browser company. So, yeah.
Okay. What did you install, Nick?
The ChatGPT app. I'll use that throughout the week. And
For coffee?
no, just for regular regular things.
All right. Let's see what else we have here. This is going to be nice. Apple is planning a new AirPods feature that allows the earbuds to live translate an in-person conversation into another language. That's coming from Bloomberg. The capability will be offered as part of an AirPods software upgrade due later this year. It will be tied to iOS 19, the upcoming update to Apple's mobile device operating system. Can we say Star Trek?
Yeah. Well, don't go Star Trek. Go to the Babylon Fish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
That's more like it, because the universal translator in Star Trek, nobody really explains where it is, how it works, stuff like that. But the Babel fish, right, is the fish that bores into your ear. So it's a lot more adequate in the comparison.
All right. Microsoft is ending support of its remote desktop app.
Yes, this is a huge story.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, well, yeah, walk us through it.
I mean, you're technical more than I do on this because you used it and
I mean, so RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol, has been a staple of Windows for 15 years, 20 years. I don't even know how long it's been.
Yeah, forever
it's been
and ever.
kind of, and it's RDP is now there's been a lot of other tools that have come out since then. TeamViewer, Log Me In, AnyDesk, a variety of remote desktop applications that are easier for a user to set up. Remote desktop protocol requires, if you're going to use it remotely, either using a VPN to get into the network that you are RDPing into, or this is very much frowned upon, port forwarding and publicly exposing a remote desktop protocol port, which is does talk about a security risk. And they're shutting down. But what was unclear to me is, are they replacing it with anything? Does your
Yes.
article note?
Yes, they are. So I'm looking at The Verge. This is March 11th, so a week ago. Microsoft is ending support for its remote desktop for Windows on May 27th. The new Windows app will launch which launched in September, and it's called, what's the name?
There is a new, I do remember that. So there was a new remote, there was a new way to RDP.
Oh,
and
it's
it
called
involved,
Windows app.
there was a Windows Store app that kind of replaced RDP. I know that they were pushing that. And so I
Yeah.
wonder if that's the case.
Yeah, the thing is, they named it Windows app.
That's what they
That's a
call it. The
terrible
new
name.
Windows
Yeah.
app, which launched in September.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
And it says
Yeah, it's just a
includes.
terrible name, and that's why it's hard to talk about it. But that is replacing, and it's a multi-platform app that. So here's the thing with
So it's-
RDP. RDP was an
Yeah.
app. First of all, it's just, the service itself is still going to be there, and it's the same service that's run until today, up until today, and it fuels online virtual machines as well as supporting hardware, remote hardware, right? So just like TeamViewer, AnyDesk, RustDesk, and all of these, it's what's changing here is basically the client. And instead of RDP, it's going to be called Windows app because it allows you to access other Windows machines, I guess. And it's a multi-platform app. It'll be available on Mac OS, on Android, on iOS, and not just Windows, which Microsoft didn't have a solution like that. The remote desktop app was only available on Windows. So I think that's the change, right? Basically, we're not going to use that old app anymore to access RDP servers, but we are going to use this new app.
I see an issue though. I'm looking at the app right now, and it's again called the Windows app. Stupid name.
Yeah.
Embrace the simplification of a unified client with the Windows app to use your work or school accounts to connect to Windows in the cloud. So this is going to be for people that have somebody that has an Office 365 subscription. And it even says right at the top, Windows app, Microsoft Corporation requires work or school accounts. So for regular home users that just have a free Microsoft account, it doesn't look like this is going to work for them. And they'll still have to use RDP, which, I mean, realistically, the benefits of using RDP at this point are very small. I know a couple of people that still use RDP, but everybody else has switched to a variety of other solutions. And I'll use this as an opportunity to recommend the solution that I use. They don't pay me, but it's open source, which I know we tend to shoot towards. It's called DW Service. I'll throw a link in the chat for it. It's not the most user rich, it's not the most feature rich remote desktop client, but it is open source, which is nice. Their mobile app they don't have one, so it's pretty much just computer to computer. But I've been using that for a couple of years and it works pretty well. You can install the client in the background on computers. Like Amnon's got it installed. He only opens it when he needs me to look at something. So it's a good alternative. But this looks like this Windows app looks like it's only for work and school accounts.
Really?
Check out Rust
what it
Desk.
says.
Check out Rust. Yeah, that's another open source. It's literally
Rust or Rusk.
Rust, RUST, like the metal rust.
Yeah,
metal rusting. So yeah, it's
Oh,
based on the Rust language, and it's written in the Rust language, and that's why it's called that way. It's basically AnyDesk has all of the functionality that AnyDesk will have. It's completely open source. You can host your own relay server, but they offer a free one as well, and it has mobile clients,
Nice.
and you can remote into a mobile device as well. So
Interesting.
yeah, highly recommend that as a like jack of all trades that you can use and set it up. It has two-factor authentication. You can set up if you need unattended remote and you want to make sure things are secure and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting move for Microsoft. I'll try to run the app and try to understand if they're planning on more than that. One thing the article does state is it's not so there's a companion app on Windows called Remote Support, I think. I don't see the name in the article again. I'll find it again. But there's basically a built-in tool in Windows. I'm not talking about any server version edition. Any Windows where you can invite a friend to support you. That's built into Windows, and that companion app is still going to be there. They're not saying they're stopping that. It's based on the same protocol. It's just machine to machine, no server in the middle. Interesting though, yeah. The name though, why? Like, it's I'm trying to understand that. Like, where I have a feeling like this is another step in them. They have this grand vision of making Microsoft a service, Microsoft Windows a service, right? They've always been pushing to that. The moment they started with Office 365, the money that Office 365 is making compared to just standard Office, right, is incomparable in the flow of income that it brings them. So they want the OS to be a service as well, and it feels like this is a step in that direction.
I guess
Well, Gal, as they describe it, the Windows app is your gateway to securely connecting to Windows across they say Windows 365, which I didn't know was a thing. Windows 365, Azure Virtual Desktop, and Microsoft DevBox.
So
and
Windows,
it's, by the way,
365 is when you get a virtual space that you work completely, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, then this doesn't mention anything about your local computer.
Right.
And by the way, this app has a 2.6 star on the Microsoft App Store.
Yeah.
So and for whatever reason, it's stuck on installing 100% on my computer. So we'll see.
It's probably going folder by folder, making sure RDP isn't there and nuking it.
I mean, here's the thing, though. If we're being honest about it, RDP is when it was introduced 20 years ago, it was revolutionary. RDP is a awful protocol. I mean, it is full of security holes and issues.
No, it's not.
Why you say
that's
that?
incorrect. That's incorrect. So I know that was the initial assumption, but no, it has evolved. It is still the trend center when it comes to remoting Windows. So when you work inside an enterprise where everything is set up by security experts, the the protocol to use is RDP.
Agreed.
Yeah, and it will open VPNs automatically, and it can be automated, and it's a very robust protocol that allows a lot to happen on top of that connection. But as I just want to help my friend, yeah, you're right. It's not the right tool. So, but again, it doesn't seem like that's what they're targeting at this point, right? So we're not without it yet.
The only thing that I have, a question that I have about this is, if the did you say that, or Nick said that the service is still the RDP?
Yeah, I mean they're just ending support on it. They're not
They're changing the client.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't seem like it says. Read your article, Emma. Didn't it say they're just ending support for it?
They're
and
ending
it will continue
support
to
for
exist.
it.
Yeah, so it'll still be
my
there.
point is, RDP was always a problematic feature, because people would break in. They were saying, "Don't use it," because of. I mean, it's
At the
it's a
beginning, when there was
vulnerability.
no encryption around the
Why aren't
communication,
they
we're
doing?
not there.
Why
We're
aren't they
not there.
doing away with it altogether?
Because it's
But
still
that's what I'm
very
saying.
heavily
It's
used.
Yeah,
it's the most common, the most secure way to connect today.
I don't think so. I
what
think
you're talking about is beginning of 2000s. What we're describing are the modern version of it, which is it's perfectly fine. It's not, yeah.
okay.
On an internal network, RDP is phenomenal.
Not only on internal network, also across the external connections
With a
where you need a
VPN.
secure. It's
Yeah.
not exact. It's not. So it will open the encrypted connection properly, right? That will create the VPN for you. It knows how to do that, exactly like we do we rely on tools like Rustdesk and AnyDesk, etc. Right? It's not a peer-to-peer thing. The setup of the server is an evolved process. You can click a few checkbox on Windows and suddenly you can serve a remote connection, but you're probably doing it wrong, right? So that's the thing.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Users of browsers, the Firefox mainly, a critical root certificate expiring on March 14, 2025, expired already, will disable extensions and potentially break DRM dependent streaming services for Firefox users running outdated browsers. Users must update to at least Firefox 128 or ESR 115.13 plus to maintain functionality across Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and Android platforms. So if you see something weird going on, update you should always do the updates to a browser, but update your browser to 128 and higher. I think it's at 136 now.
It's shut down right now, and I don't want to start it because it's
Yeah.
resource consuming while I'm on video. But yeah,
You know, I had an interesting issue this week. I don't know if you saw this, Gal. I opened up Chrome and it disabled a bunch of my extensions, including Bitwarden and uBlock. I don't know. I didn't dig into why it did all of that, but it did it across multiple devices, and I had to go back in, and it said something about how they weren't up to date with Chrome's EULA or something like that. I think that was the message that it gave me. It was easy to re-enable.
Yeah, it's a bit more than that. They made an overall to the Chrome web store because I've been using a new environment. I've been installing extensions across multiple browsers, so I encountered this a lot. Yeah, so they've been stating that um, a lot of these browsers extensions, they're breaking the web store EULA, something, right? It doesn't specify how. That's for the developers to solve. And so we are going to, they're going to be a lot more strict on what they allow, basically, on the extension store.
I'm surprised to see Bitwarden in there, though. That's a very
but
mainstream
if you
app.
search, there is a Bitwarden that works. It's not
Interesting.
yeah. It's like you probably haven't, your extension probably didn't update properly or something, because the Bitwarden works. I work with it on Chrome.
Yeah, I just re-enabled it and it worked. But my Bitwarden came from the store. So I wonder if they created it. I wonder if they
Well,
created a
if
new
you'll
version
go
of
and
it.
search on the store, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right
and
now.
you'll find a ton of extensions where it says this extension is no longer available, right? They're trying to force all of the developers to probably sign new EULA and probably restricting what these extensions can do. For example, one of the extensions that got demoted is uBlock Origin.
Yep.
It will no longer be available, but uBlock Origin's group has already created uBlock Origin Lite, which does work. So it's just about, it'll cause a lot of users to make some changes in the extensions they're using, and it'll take out a lot of outdated extensions that no longer work in the way Chrome allows it. This would be an excellent time to shift to Microsoft Edge, for example, or another browser, and use the extensions from there, because there nothing has changed.
Wait, I use uBlock Origin. Are you saying I need to switch it?
You don't need to switch it if it works for you, but if you install a new browser, you won't get that extension anymore.
But you can't.
If
You
you're
can
using
still
Chrome.
install it, right? You can just you can still download it from their website and import it. Right?
Yeah, but installing third-party extensions is also blocked, right, by default.
Oh, really?
On Chrome. Yeah, you need to go through some hoops to install something. So
interesting. Yeah, I've got a couple of third-party extensions installed that are not in the store because of what they do. Yeah, I just thought that. I thought it was, and it's funny. I just went to the Chrome Web Store, searched for Bitwarden. The top one is the Bitwarden app, and it says featured and already installed. So I'm not sure why that popped up on my list. It did it on both my desktop and my laptop.
That's because the new version required a new set of permissions.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
When an extension requires some sort of permission changes in the backend, it needs a user prompt to approve that. So that's it. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm looking at my extension list now, and one of the ones that is disabled is Microsoft Rewards, which is their own app. Which obviously it's not a Chrome app, but it's a Microsoft app, and it says this extension violates Chrome's web store policy, which is interesting.
If your app works with Microsoft sites and not Google sites, we're banning it.
Yeah. And turn that back on. There we go.
We were talking about TP-Link and vulnerabilities. The Ballista botnet is actively exploiting a high-severity remote code execution flow in TP-Link Archer AX21 routers, infecting over 6,000 devices, primarily in Brazil, Poland, the UK, Bulgaria, and Turkey. But it exists, and no telling when they're going to start hitting here. Although it's not mentioned in the article, they're probably looking at it. So it's the Archer AX-21. So think about replacing. And
Need to replace or just upgrade firmware?
What? Well, yeah, you will need to see if there is. I didn't see anything about upgrading the firmware unless you're changing the firmware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Um, there is a new operating system if anybody wants to use it. It's called Free 95.
Windows
And
95.
a new lean Windows compatible operating system is available from GitHub. In its current form, it can run very basic Win32 GUI and console applications,
Oh my God.
but its developer promises to keep working on it to reach DirectX and even game compatibility.
Can I show you the screenshots of it?
Sure,
And this is
that's the color
is
of
it.
Windows 95.
I know, but I mean, look. I mean, this is it. All programs closed. Desktops, just a blank teal back.
Yeah. Mm.
Simpler days.
I mean,
Well,
like, I mean, this is.
What are you talking about?
But-
Our audience knows this very well because Katie's intro shows exactly that.
Windows
listen-
95 did not look
UI.
this bad, though.
No, this is an oversimplified wireframe.
But
Yeah.
listen to this. Free 95 is your friendly Windows environment with an added trust of the open source community, according to its README file. It's licensed under the GPL 3.0 license. And in answer to the question why, it responds to remove Windows's bloat and security problems. Being controlled by a large corporation is unsettling. It looks like somebody did it like in spite of they like to spit
don't
in the
know.
face of what?
First, I'm stopping you for a sec
Yeah.
because I do not really understand why we're talking about it. The website, I would not recommend anybody go and download.
Oh,
this,
not now. No,
okay?
no.
No. Like,
What do
this
you
is
see?
40 commits in. Okay, so this is a brand new project,
Right.
right? And somebody is just trying to gain attention to it, but I do not see anything that makes it how would I say
Viable.
interesting in any way. The open source since the beginning of March. It's a brand new project. It hasn't been vetted. Like,
Okay.
if you're interested in open source, go check it out. But I like
There's nothing
a
to
grain
check
of
out.
salt.
I mean, Nick showed you. There's nothing really to check out.
Yeah,
And
so it's
besides-
either like 50K. Yeah, something is don't.
Well,
Not worth the attention. It's a joke somebody
Okay.
played. I don't know.
all right. Let's
Yeah.
let's leave it as a joke. Amazon Echo. Amazon said that Echo users will no longer be able to set their device to process Alexa requests locally and therefore avoid sending voice recordings to Amazon's cloud. Amazon apparently sent the email to users with do not send voice recordings enabled on their Echo. Starting on March 28th, recordings of everything spoken to the Alexa living in Echo speakers and smart displays will automatically be sent to Amazon and processed in the cloud.
Okay,
So
this is, I mean, terrible, but this is also a good opportunity to recommend an alternative, right?
is there a
With-
safe
Yes,
alternative?
there are a few actually, but the most interesting one is from the same tool that we've been talking about for years, Home Assistant. They've been for the past 3 years they've been running what they call the Year of the Voice project, which started a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And the breakthrough was this year, they actually introduced hardware that you can buy. Albeit the the stock always runs very, very low because they're a small outfit, but for not an overly expensive expense, you can buy hardware where you can hook it up to your home assistant, and it does a couple of things. And one of the interesting things is it can also run a local LLM, right? A complete, not just identify predefined prompts, but also an actual run an open source self-hosted LLM and pass some of the questions to it, and it knows how to fall back. It'll try doing things locally, then it'll go to your LLM of choice. But that LLM can also be, let's say, ChatGPT, which is the most powerful LLM right now, right? So it will know how to pass questions to a smarter solution of your liking. So this means that you not only have full control over the hardware and what it does, you also get control of what are the engines that are driving it. Something that
Okay,
was
now
only
let me.
you were only able to control when you bought like an Amazon device or a Google device, and you're
Yeah.
using their
Okay.
engines. That's it.
Question. Take off your techie hat off and put on your end user.
Yeah.
Grandma and grandpa want to talk to the kids. Are they going to be able to do anything with Home Assistant?
The operation of it is exactly the same. The setup is, it means that you need to have an home assistant setup.
Right.
You
So
can have for $5 a month, right? You can basically have a home assistant set up in the cloud that they set it up for you. You do not need to muck around with any DNS or anything like that. You just pay the subscription. You get a link and it works, right?
okay.
Yeah,
So
they
in that
have
case,
they have the entire spectrum of that world covered.
but now the other thing is at this point now they need a computer.
No, that's what I'm saying. Once you have this voice endpoint, you do not need a computer. First of all, everything can be done from the phone. Everything.
Okay.
It's probably less convenient, but everything can be done from the
No,
phone.
it's
So if
just
you
I
have,
think it's
yeah,
it's convenient. I mean, it's nice because it's got the video in it, and if you just have an echo with nothing, now you can add the video, right? You don't know.
that's a good question. I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
What other options are out there?
There are other like open source options. There also keep in mind that any device you buy today with voice control, while they will support either Amazon or Google's solution, sometimes both of them, like you get to choose. Let's say Sonos, they created their own as well, right? So
Right.
they won't rely on either. So it's the marketplace, right, has evolved to a point where there's no just one way of doing it that it will be successful. So,
Okay.
but for an open solution where you get to choose, right now, a sort of out of the box experience exists with Home Assistant.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, if you're still using the Echo, just be careful what you tell it. You should always.
I usually tell it to shut up.
Yeah, I've been telling it. I mean, it's amazing. You tell it to turn on the light in the evening and again and again and
Oh,
again, and
by
it
the
says,
way,
"Hey, I can do."
yeah. When she starts with "by the way,"
Yeah.
I literally am looking for for a hammer, right? It's like that is the most annoying
Annoying.
thing
Yeah.
in the world. I am sorry. I am not like in the 50s it would be I'm not racist, right? But I'm not anti-bot, but that is the most annoying thing
Yeah,
in
it
the world.
is. It's
Yeah.
definitely is annoying.
All I wanted it was to switch on the light or
Yeah.
something, right? So come on.
Yeah, this is a constant problem that I've had. My smart plugs are not super responsive. I frequently have to ask it to turn the lights on or off like at least 3 times.
Interesting.
Is
Yeah.
it? Oh, but after the third time, it does work.
Hold on.
Yeah, but I'm just
How
sitting
are
there
they hooked
screaming.
up?
Okay.
They're Amazon plugs.
Yeah, but what are they hooked up to? Directly to the Echo Hub?
I don't have an Echo Hub. They're Wi-Fi.
No, they're just Wi-Fi.
Okay, they're Wi-Fi and they're
Yeah.
basically try adding them to Home Assistant and then controlling your
Yeah.
Home Assistant from Alexa.
I need to. So it's obvious that it's obviously that it's just a network issue. Because Amazon will respond. Yeah, I'll get the doo-doo that it heard the command and it's executed the command, but it's not making it to the device. I need to get Home Assistant configured to talk to Amazon. I
Yeah,
don't have the Pro version.
that can take about an hour of work. So
Yeah, it's been something I just and then the other thing I was thinking was doing that and then getting a Z-Wave they sell like little Z-Wave toggle buttons to just use to control them too, so I don't have to yell all the time to turn lights on and off. My light
So
in the
if
living room
you
and my
if you
lights
s-
in the bedroom
if
are
you speak
Amazon.
if you speak louder, it works.
No, but
it just
after the
needs to
third
repeat
time
it.
when I'm standing in the
Okay.
dark trying to get the freaking lights to turn on, I start yelling
Okay.
because it's incredibly
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. I
Um,
have a different problem. Kathy doesn't like to talk to Alexa.
don't
So
say that
she-
word.
Huh?
Don't say the word.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Alexa,
She
turn
does
to-
it from
A
the,
word, A word.
she does it from the app.
Yeah, the app's fine.
And 2 or 3 times a week, one of the lights will not respond anymore. And I actually have to go there, unplug it from the outlet, let it sit, then plug it back in, and everything will work from then on.
How many times does she try controlling it in the app?
I have many.
Okay, I suspect it's the same thing, and I would guess it's just a network issue.
I mean, I
with
will
Amazon.
stand there and say, turn all the lights off, but that light will stay on. I say, okay, turn everything back on. Now turn everything off.
So you sound like you've got a
nothing.
plug that's actually got an issue.
Well, it's
I
not
don't think
one
mine
plug.
has an issue.
It's not just
Yeah.
one. It's
Hmm.
all 4 of them at different times. Depends which one she was
Interesting.
playing with.
Yeah, they're not the most reliable. I mean, they've done me well, but it's just, man, it's so freaking frustrating. I'm just like, turn the
Yeah.
damn lights on. I don't know why it's such a process. And I know the solution is getting Z-Wave stuff.
The solution is to actually get up and use the switch.
Well, but the problem is when you set up these A-word or these Amazon switches,
Yeah.
you know, like the one for my light in the living room is buried halfway behind my couch. So to manually turn it on, I literally have to pull the couch out. I mean, so it's just and the one in the bedroom.
Oh no! You need to get up from the couch because you're blocking the Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah, my fat ass blocking the is attenuating the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi signal.
No,
and
it's the
throwing me off.
uranium in the food that you eat. That's why.
I covered the plugs in tin foil because I was told that would get rid of the EMI. I'm not really sure if that's had an impact or not.
I had a problem a couple of years ago where I wanted to move a lamp and not use it with Amazon anymore. I couldn't remember what I did with the knob. I take the knobs off the lamps so you won't turn it off and then nothing works and you don't know why. So I unscrew it and put it somewhere. Couldn't find
All
it.
you
So I
needed was
had to,
duct tape, and you took it off.
yeah. So I had to order a bag of like 10 of them on
You're
eBay.
unbelievable, Amnon. You are
And now
unbelievable.
there is a drawer somewhere in Amnon's house
Yeah.
with 10 other knobs and the 10
No.
that he knows where they are.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way. It's not that I'm completely identify. Yeah.
All right.
One quick question for you guys before we
Yes.
leave. So there is a way to get Home Assistant to automatically work with Amazon, but you have to pay for it, right?
Well, for like doing it in 3 clicks, yeah.
What's the cost on that? And is there any other benefits?
$5 a month. It's
Oh,
basically a
month?
subscription to
Mm.
Nabukasa. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes towards the Home Assistant project, right? But
Eh.
I'm like you, like doesn't make sense to me to do that, and so I already have the infrastructure, the networking, right? I have a domain name and all that, so it's just about setting it up correctly.
Okay.
And the page on explaining on how to set up is perfect, right? It includes every single step that you need to do to go through, but it's a pain because there's a lot of details. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, doke. I'll look into that.
All right. Katie, anything you want to add?
Nope,
You're working, huh?
I am. I'm
Okay.
filling out orders.
Okay. Good. Good.
The grind.
Yeah.
Playing the game, the TikTok
Hey,
game.
you know what John says in the
What?
chat? Do you see what it says? What John said in the chat?
I have one, a clapper. I've got one.
Said
wanted
use
at a
the
Chris- I-
clapper.
I wanted at a what do they call white elephant or with a Christmas party where everybody gets a random gift. I
Yeah.
won a clapper a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I should put my computer on it, be playing Call of Duty and get real pissed off and slam my hand on the desk and it'll shut the whole computer off.
Yeah, it would, unless it's a laptop.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just take the battery out, unsolder the battery,
Yeah.
and then there you go.
Yeah.
Same effect.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Katie. Spence, if you're listening, have fun. He said it was still getting to 0 up there.
I mean, it's freaking Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and remember to change any same passwords wherever you use them. You need to end up not having any same password on 2 different sites. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT in Charlotte, 11:10 a.m., 99.3 FM, and it's on YouTube. Nick also does his own Nick Craig show from 7 to 8 every weekday. You can go to nickcraig.com and get the information about where to download, where to watch the live shows. Nick, do you also have information there about the Carolina News Hour?
No,
No.
just search them up independently.
Okay.
Try to keep them separate for
Okay.
political
And
purposes.
Nick and Brian host the Infection Podcast on Twitch every week. That's for survival games, gaming news, some political points. If you're in gaming, you gotta watch it. So go to infectionpodcast.com get the information when to watch or just download and listen at your own leisure. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.